Here is the breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. US President Donald Trump is on a state visit to the United Kingdom, meeting with British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer. Topics of discussion include international security, economic cooperation and global affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SATV's International Affairs. My name is Rashid Kanchan. I will be your host. I have a very distinguished panelist today in the studio, Dr. Major Nasir. He is very outspoken, knowledgeable personality on war, conflict, negotiation and international affairs. We have our international affairs commentator Shamsul Alam Pantho, and from London we will catch Professor Dr. Rashid Alam. He is the professor of political science, University of Dhaka, currently traveling United Kingdom. And of course from Washington DC, we have our geopolitical correspondents who cover White House, Oval Office, Congress, Senate and politics inside United States of America. Norman Flight Barnes. Let me begin from Washington DC. Mr. Norman, what are the latest you have? What are the updates you have? And what are the new breaking news you have?
Good morning from Washington. Today we are waking up to a new day. The Federal Reserve has decided to cut interest rates by a quarter of a percent, a quarter of a point yesterday. This will help with the ability of people to get short-term loans, auto loans, and help finance. However, President Trump's response to this is that he wants more cuts. The Federal Reserve is also anticipating two additional cuts before the end of the year. So this should help surge and stimulate the economy to a point where people can start buying and investing. Investors can buy, home builders, developers can start construction where people can buy new homes. That's one area. And the next one, the president of the United States is in London right now, in the UK, with the prime minister. They had a big, yesterday, a big, I guess, celebration with the king. There was a lot of fanfare and discussions about politics. And the result of that is, well, we wait and see the result of that. Outside of that, the prime minister mentioned that there will be a acknowledgement of the Palestinian state. He's going to delay that until after President Trump's visit ends, and they are going to officially announce Palestine, recommend Palestine to be a state prior to the General Assembly meeting next week.
All right, Mr. Norman.
One other matter that...
Yes, go ahead. Yes. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, one other matter coming up in the United States of violence regarding the Kirk assassination. The Jimmy Kimmel's show, a popular night show, has been canceled because of disparaging remarks made by the host regarding that situation. And also, there's another situation. I want to be brief on it. In Mississippi, there was a hanging. A student was found at his black university, was found hung from a tree. And there's independent request to do a federal investigation on this matter. So that is a pending and breaking news situation. Again, more violence in the U.S.
Norman, when I'll be coming back to you, I'll raise a very important issues. This is the first time after Donald Trump 2.0, former President Barack Obama has opened his mouth. He has said so many significant things. And thank you very much. You are so updated, Mr. Norman. I really appreciate your professionalism. Let me come back to our international affairs commentator who designs news for the show, who follows different agencies and news outlets to put the topics on the table. I also like his style. Mr. Panthu.
Thanks for passing me the mantle. Very good afternoon to our viewers, and of course welcoming Major Nasir into our studio once again. Let me begin today by the EU top diplomat is unveiling plans to downgrade ties with Israel and sanctioning top officials over findings of human rights abuses in Gaza, marking a major shift in the bloc's approach to Tel Aviv. In addition, the US Federal Reserve slashed its benchmark federal funds rate by 25 basis points between 4% and 4.25% target range as widely expected. And also let me tell you that there is a war between the right spectrum with the left spectrum. There is US President Donald Trump announcing that he is designating Antifa, a decentralized left-wing anti-fascist movement, as a major terrorist organization. So this is the latest build-ups we have across the globe.
Excellent, sir. But I have a relevant personality here who was a soldier. I always say one thing to my humble viewers, that once a soldier, always a soldier. Once a soldier talks like a soldier. Major Dr. Nasir, very high profile academician as well. My question would be related to Israel recent activities, sir. What is the significance of the United Nations ruling that Israeli military actions in Gaza amount to genocide?
Yeah.
What are the legal and political implications in this perspective?
Okay, thank you, Kanchan, for inviting me, and very warm wishes to my dear viewers. At the outset, I would like to remember, as you term me as a soldier, that this is the month, September, a very significant month in the military history. In this month, World War II started and also got ended in this particular month of September. French Revolution turned on this particular month with the removal of Louis XVI, the very ferocious monarch, self-claimed monarch of the then Zaire, now the Congo, which generated the genocides in Rwanda and Greater Congo. He died on 7th September, that is again in this month. So history says September is a month where anything in military perspective can happen, and it happened in the past and not unlikely to happen in present days also. In this month of September, as we have already discussed, very two significant marks we have seen. One is Donald Trump, for the second time he is visiting UK, and he has been given a very warm welcome, grand reception, banquet and everything, and very shortly I will discuss it maybe in the second stage, but shortly I can say this is maybe one step ahead to stop the war in Ukraine, because British or the England is one of the major key players in Ukraine war in terms of supplying arms, intelligence, logistic support to the Ukrainians. Now coming back to your direct question about the genocide in Gaza Strip, it is very unfortunate that the whole world, especially the Muslim world, just kept on watching that one generation is being totally abandoned, and the buildings, that the last few of the tall buildings, that has been demolished starting from yesterday. Yesterday they said these are the hubs of the so-called terrorists, but internationally now it is quite clear that only few journalists were there in that particular building. They have already abandoned the building, the Gaza citizen, and they have now running from here to there. They have no food, they have no medicine, no schooling, nothing they have. Now they are right in front of the just guns, you can say. And yesterday I was watching, a lady was telling that 20 times I shifted my location within last 1 year, from one door to another door, from one camp to another camp, and nowhere they are secured. Nowhere they are secured. They are being asked to stay inside the tent, and the lady is replying, I don't have food. I don't have money to buy food. Where from I will get a tent? So there is no way I will have to stay under the sky. This is very, very serious crime against humanity, crime against the international laws. It's total neglect and disrespect to UN Convention, to the Geneva Convention. Everyone, nobody and no human being can accept such crimes against the humanity. But fact remains, so long big powers do not create pressure on Israel, and if there is no internal uprising from the Israel, it is very difficult to stop Netanyahu at this stage.
I understand you are talking about the big powers. Yesterday, Brigadier General Shafat says one thing. Since last 24 hours, I am thinking that he said he has seen written something in backside of the rickshaw in Dhaka city. People of Gaza are dying because 50 Muslim countries are in sleep now. I think you can remember that was very remarkable. Let me go to Washington again. I said this is the first time Barack Obama has opened his mouth regarding the Donald Trump administration 2.0. Let me read out news from Wall Street Journal and AP shared with me by our geopolitical correspondent Norman. I really liked it. Former President Barack Obama says that the United States is at an inflection point. I will definitely ask Norman, what does he mean inflection point? Following the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, and the President Donald Trump has further divided the country rather than work to bring people together. He used one symbolic word. There is no ifs, ands and buts about it. Norman, would you please explain what is your understanding on Barack Obama's yesterday's speech regarding the US politics and global politics and control of Washington into the entire world?
Yes, former President Barack Obama has made a unprecedented comment. It's common among the executive branch that former presidents refrain from commenting on current presidents' actions. Fortunately, on this situation, former President Barack Obama thought it was time and very fitting to respond. Basically, what he is saying is the country is being divided, and is being divided because the current President Trump is putting out information about division, the left wing, the right wing. He's claiming that the left wing is supporting the assassination and the comments and actions and violence regarding the Kirk assassination, and also the encouraging the violence in the country. President Obama is pushing that the country need to be brought together instead of being divided, and current commentary by the president, media offices, media relations, the press is promoting a division and more violence within the ranks of the United States. So this is, he believes, is a very destructive thing for our future, our country, and how the world views the United States as a leader.
All right, Norman, let me ask a tough question. I know our international affairs commentator Shamsul Alam Pantho will give a brief answer, but it is tough to come into a conclusion. Sir, how should international bodies like United Nations, ICC, human rights NGOs, Amnesty International respond to alleged this genocide in Gaza? Are current mechanisms sufficient, or they should speak very clearly?
Thanks for the question. I just want to put into notion that just ahead of the High Sessions debate beginning on the 23rd of this month, the United Nations in its almost 100-page report have already said that what Israel is doing in Gaza Strip is labeled, and it is a genocide. So a body like United Nations, when they come up to a certain degree we can understand that there is no motive for the Israelis to continue this assault. But following such assaults, today we see Israel attacking the Gaza Strip and at least killing 102 Palestinians and injuring scores more. The death toll right now stands at 65,000 plus people who have been killed. And it's not always gunshots and with weapons and tanks, it's more or less dehydration and starvation of the people who live there. According to various sources, we know that there is an attempt of blocking to remove the naval blockade. A lot of ships are approaching Gaza Strip as we speak, and they should be arriving there in a matter of days and weeks. But how the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, handle this issue is a matter to be reckoned with. Now, there is no regard for international law. Even on a previous show, I've said over the 72-hour time frame, Israel had attacked 6 countries in the region. And today, we also understand how Mohammed bin Salman, leader of the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, and Shehbaz Sharif had met discussing a nuclear pact between the two countries. I understand why that is relevant here in the story of how to stop Israel, or who will be taking the charges in the Middle East to stop Israel. We know how Qatar was attacked. Once again, a violation of international law. These are the elements that will mark Israel as a pariah state in the upcoming debate session in the United Nations.
Sir, I'm sure you will agree with me that Shamsul Alam Panto has given a different dimension of today's show. Besides all these selected topics, he has raised one question, one subject, that Pakistan and Saudi Arabia has come in a pact, and I have gone through the terms and conditions. It is almost like a NATO type agreement. If Pakistan is under attack, Saudi Arabia will respond. If Saudi is under attack, Pakistan will respond. It's a commitment between the two countries. I will be going there after a while, but I have a question for you. In what ways do attacks on hospitals and critical infrastructure violate international humanitarian law, and how can those laws be enforced? Because according to UN Charter, you have to maintain some norms of war.
Yeah. So, as already we have discussed to some extent that Israel, especially Netanyahu, has no respect for international norms or the UN Charter or the Geneva Convention, whatever, or other ICC guidelines. So, nowhere we can bind him with the laws. It is only by force probably we can implement some restrictions on to his this type of aggressive movement. And it is quite impossible without the blessings of the big powers. Now, one thing is that Donald Trump, especially inside his country, he is totally under pressure. You see, he is visiting UK now, but streets of UK is now full of protesters. They're again and again coming up with different slogans, why he is visiting, why he is not coming in favor of the humanity, why he is not giving strong message to Israel and Netanyahu. So everywhere he is under pressure, wherever he goes. And just before coming, I was watching one TV news. 61% British citizen, they have said Donald Trump should leave the country immediately. They don't want to see Donald Trump inside the British territory anymore. So these are the few factors probably he is needs to be considered. And the dimension, Mr. Partha has already said, Pakistan had good allies with the Saudi Arabia, especially in terms of defense cooperation before also. Once Pakistan's the holy places were attacked by the Iraqi forces, the Sunnis, it is the Pakistan commandos who went there and who rescued the hostages and who ultimately cleaned up the entire holy mosques and other places. So Pakistan had good ties with Saudi Arabia before also, and this is a new dimension. As you know that Pakistan has the nuclear capacity, and like Iran, it is not exposed because probably US also has some blessings on Pakistan that you secretly you just go ahead. They are not exposed that much, but definitely they are capable of doing something which can destroy anything, anytime, anywhere. Now, in the entire Middle East, probably only one threat was absent, that is the presence of nuclear weapon especially in the Gulf countries. Iran had, but on the other hand, others, the 7 countries of the GCC, they did not have any nuclear capacity. They were happy with the protection being ensured or protection being guaranteed by the Westerns. Now, the Royal Prince of the Saudi Arabia coming forward, thinking about his own defense after the strike on Qatar, as you rightly said, that this is definitely a new turn, new movement, and new dimension in the Middle East chapter, and especially those who are the new generation now coming up in the power. If you talk about the Emir Tamim of Qatar, he studied in Western countries. His father was very smart, and his mother is also a very educated lady. So he has a different outlook for the world peace. And Qatar and Doha, internationally very reputed for negotiations. Lot of negotiations, and successful negotiations were patronized by Qatari Amir, and especially he is open-minded. He likes to bring some peace effort in the world, and he was successful in many of the operations. I can cite the examples, but probably he was also part of, and he was strongly supported by this Prince Salman of Saudi Arabia and other the royal princes around him. He was very much liked by them, and Qatar was given green signal to go ahead, and everybody was in favor of supporting Qatar. They could not do anything directly, but whatever the Sultan of Qatar was doing, Sultan Tamim was doing, that was well appreciated by the Middle East. Now he is under attack. It means that Israel has crossed all limits, and now probably they will have to pay for it in any form.
Right, sir. Let me add on some Indian media's impression about the strategic alliance between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. Indian medias are trying to say that India has lost the Arabian countries' confidence, and Saudi Arabia took a nuclear country as their strategic partner. This is another different dimensions. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching and keeping us in your prayers. I apologize for a short break.
সারা দেশে লাখো মানুষের কঠোর কর্মতৎপরতা ও নিষ্ঠায় এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন 16 কোটি মানুষের হাতের নাগালে। দীর্ঘ 30 বছর ধরে বিশ্বস্ততা ও দ্রুততার সাথে সেবা দেওয়ায় গ্রাহক সেবায় এখন শীর্ষে। বাংলাদেশে গ্রাহক সেবার সাফল্যের পর এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন বিশ্ব বাণিজ্য কেন্দ্র সিঙ্গাপুরে। আপনার যে কোনো পণ্য সিঙ্গাপুর থেকে বাংলাদেশে বুকিং এর জন্য যোগাযোগ করুন। এসএ পরিবহন প্রাইভেট লিমিটেড, লজিস্টিক্স পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস, 22 রবার্টস লেন, সিঙ্গাপুর 218302। ফোন 0065 629 24900। বাংলাদেশ থেকে সিঙ্গাপুরে পণ্য বুকিং এর জন্য যোগাযোগ করুন ঢাকা সহ দেশের যে কোনো 80টি শাখা কেন্দ্রে। এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস, আপনার সেবা সব সময়।
Welcome, Grand Palace Hotel, Dhaka. A majestic lobby blending timeless elegance with modern design. Experience 5-star comfort in suites and rooms. Sophisticated fine dining restaurant. Crystal clear swimming pool for ultimate relaxation. Modern gym and serene spa for well-being. perfect venue for corporate events, weddings and parties. Seamless and secured. Elegant.
Again, a breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. In France, large-scale strikes, teachers, hospital staffs, train workers and protesting in the street against proposed budget cuts, pension reforms, demands for higher taxes on the wealthy and other austerity measures. Schools are being blocked by students. The movement is putting pressure on President Emmanuel Macron's government. But we have to look at what is happening in South Asia. Shamsul Alam Panthu, I'm sure you have a news which is very desperately criticized by Indian medias, Myanmar medias, something happening in Bangladesh. How do you see and what are the newses?
Thank you for passing me this statement and this issue regarding Southeast Asia and Asia in general. We see that there is US military activity in Chittagong, Bangladesh. Multiple news sources reporting that US Air Force C-130J Super Hercules transport aircraft landed in Shah Amanat International Airport in Chittagong. This is of course a part of a joint exercise between the US and Bangladesh naming Operation Pacific Angel. And of course it is to garner and strengthen Bangladesh's capacity to my understanding. But what got to the majority of tabloids in our region, there are concerns raising in India and Myanmar, our two neighbors, one to the west, one to the east. What they are reporting is that they understand increased US military presence in the Bay of Bengal, and how much or so it will raise, it has raised concern, and their eyebrows have raised because the US is in the Bay of Bengal. And let me remind you that China seems to have a strategic interest with Bangladesh regarding ports, regarding the Belt and Road Initiative, and suddenly we see that the US is doing joint drills with Bangladesh. Of course, it promotes some kind of understanding and training to a certain extent, but this is not the first time that certain things have happened. We know back in July there was also Tiger Lightning, Operation Tiger Lightning that happened. But every now and then when our neighbors get an opportunity, they do take a bite out of our reputation.
Sir, as you mentioned about the China's reaction, I have just received one China's reaction from the Chinese defense minister. He speaks against rule of the jungle, and news has come from the China Daily, the most popular news in Chinese belt. At the Beijing forum, China's defense minister Dong Jun warned of a divided world marked by her hegemony, power politics and urged greater international unity. He emphasized China views its strong military as being a force for peace. I want to come to a military professional who used to learn about the military developments around the globe. How do you see the information you have listened from Shamsul Alam Panthu?
Okay. Combined military exercises, it is not a very uncommon thing in the world, especially if you talk about Bangladesh perspective. From Bangladesh perspective, Bangladesh had combined military operations with US in the past, also one already mentioned by Mr. Partha. And I remember once I was in the army, there was Operation Balanced Buffalo, and in 1991, after that great storm, the mariners came to Bangladesh territory for humanitarian aids also. So in the process there had been a lot of military exercises, but what is very important now is probably the significance of the time and the dimension. If I am not wrong, they have come with CC-130, which is little uncommon, because previously we have not this number wise so big concentration was, as I can remember, there was no concentration like this before. Three big size aircrafts coming, this is number one. Number two is that as the social media and other media is telling that their identity was not disclosed before, it was kept hidden. Previously we have seen there was ISPN news, there was journalists were called to watch the exercises. They were given some information at their own from the US Embassy and also from the Bangladesh military side. There had been some information given to them, but this time probably it was not forecast before, number 2. Number 3 is that we are in a very sensitive point at now, because our election is ahead. This particular the interim government is going to close its tenure if the election takes place as per the design or as per the plan. And this particular foreign secretary, he previously declared that there had been some development regarding a corridor being made in Myanmar territory and using the Teknaf and this particular area. So on that backdrop, this US presence here is very, very sensitive time, I should say.
And it has huge significance.
And another information which is very recently developed, that 2 days back there was a security conference in India where all the corps commanders and the regional military commanders, Air Force commander, Air Force chief, Navy chief and other defense very, very important person, those who are the, you can say, the war decision makers, this sat in a meeting which takes place every after 2 years, chaired by the Prime Minister Modi himself. And there they have identified 5 countries to be the threat of India. Number 1 China, number 2 Pakistan, number 3 Bangladesh, number 4 if I am not wrong Maldives, and number 5 is Nepal. And they have identified 2 countries to be their friend or not threat to them directly. One is Bhutan, another one is Myanmar. Now, US presence in close proximity of Myanmar probably will again make them to think once again what they have said and what really going to happen.
Thank you, sir. When India put Bangladesh as a threat list, in a threat list, I personally, as a citizen of this country, feel proud that Bangladesh has proven its capacity, because we believe there will be no compromise on national security, national integrity, national sovereignty and national development. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to catch Norman from Washington. You are hearing Shamsular Pantho. He has given some breaking news, what's going on in Bangladesh related to US Marines. They have landed in Bangladesh. You are listening Dr. Nasir, who was a military professional. Would you mind to put your take that is there any problem with this joint strategic exercise, Mr. Norman, between Bangladesh and the United States of America?
Yes, contrary, I have information that last week there was a 5-day exercise put on by Russian President Putin that involved a military exercise. It involved India, Belarus, and matter of fact, Bangladesh, that they doing military drills in Bangladesh, Iran, Mali, I mentioned India and Belarus, participated in this Russian-led military drill. So apparently there's a some battle regarding these regions, and Russia is basically trying to balance out what is occurring between the U.S. So there is some I don't know, very suspicious activities going on that Russia is basically counteracting whatever the U.S. is doing, and they are basically trying to get new partners, new allies, or influence or manipulate these countries.
Mr. Norman, I know you have some time limitations, as in Washington Standard Time it is almost 4:35 a.m. So I want to do one back-to-back question that is for you. What is the loss and damage in the context of climate change, and why are indigenous and global South leaders calling for more robust systems for this? Because in United States, people are talking about it, South American people are talking about it, and everybody wants the planet to be more cool and to stop the carbon from industries. Mr. Norman, I need this comment from you because it is very valuable agenda today.
Your question is about, again, I didn't get the
The climate
question.
change issue. What is the American position? Because the victim countries are looking for to disburse the amount for the climate change fund. Bangladesh is one of the country.
Well, the current administration is aware of these climate changes needs the world. Uh, they have decided not to focus. They're not really focused on that. That's the best way to put it. However, the people and the professionals in the country see the need for that. Funding for that, Congress will determine exactly how much funding will be used for that. But right now, we are a country divided. We have one side, the administration believes it's not that important. The other side believes is critical. So right now we are in the middle of a controversy on exactly which way we want to go. But yes, climate change is happening, is very important, very critical. How the administration approaches that is yet to be seen.
All right, Mr. Norman, thank you very, very much for your contribution. We will again sit together on Sunday, though that will be a holiday in the United States, but as a professional journalist, you will have to contribute to your show. You are committed to meet the audience. I wish you a wonderful weekend, Mr. Norman. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sir, let us come back. I have a news for you. You have interest to follow this industry. The news is why challenges NVIDIA. Big moves in chips and computing. Why has made public its plans to step up in the semiconductor and high performance computing space, announcing its own high bandwidth memory timeless for AI and server chips, aiming to reduce dependency on foreign chips and complete the NVIDIA. How do you see this technological advancement of this company, and is it going to be a threat for Taiwan and China?
Thank you for changing the topic from war fronts to more of a AI and technology field. Now I believe I have venues to comment on the matter. Previously, we used to know Apple and Microsoft being the world leaders in technology, and we knew that Apple had a valuation over $1 trillion. But today that landscape has changed. With the emergence of AI, we understand how NVIDIA has come up to the ranks of Apple. NVIDIA is now one of the world's most profitable companies, with employees having salaries in the 100,000s range. And why their breakthrough happened is because of their graphical processing units, their GPUs. They require semiconductors which are crucial for any kind of hypercomputer or supercomputer capabilities. Of course, those are not found in the consumer markets. Those are more found in military equipment. It's found in various government surveillance agencies, military intelligence agencies. They are all depending on special computing power and sources. But the background of this comes as the market in China has grown so vast with knowledge based from other competitors. They have eventually learned the model of the competitor and tried to make them better. Today, we understand that NVIDIA, a market leader, led by Jensen Huang, even he had a climactic rise from what he was before. So once again, I would like to reiterate that AI is taking over almost every aspect of human life, except that professions such as news journalism cannot be covered by AI. There are certain times even I'm asking ChatGPT to answer certain questions, but it still refers to Donald Trump as former president.
Yes.
While Donald Trump is now the current president. So there are some lackings of AI and technology which the human will definitely have a superior advantage. But as it emerges, we see technology in forms of drone warfare, if you would like to call it. But as you were telling me how it plays out and how NVIDIA is doing, they are now the most valuable company on the face of this entire globe. And what they are trying to do is getting a consumer product that everyone can access, which will definitely give a shockwave and send a shockwave towards Intel, IBM, Microsoft, Apple, and relevant other companies in their field.
Your sense and your information about the tech news impressed me. I'm really impressed. Sir, I want to come back to South Asia again for you because you served in Bangladesh military, one of the finest military in the world according to discipline and United Nations ranking. My question is, we have seen something in the July movement 2024 in Bangladesh. We are the first witness, right? Same thing happened in Nepal. Nepal students and Gen Zs has made a change, but we still don't know where is the former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli is hidden. New government has come under the leadership of a respectable woman, but Gen Zs are saying she will have to quit. What lessons we are learning from these incidents?
Okay, you have rightly said we had the major change in our politics back in July and August 2024. Before that, there was again, we have witnessed a change in Sri Lanka before us. And we were followed by probably first by Pakistan. Pakistan Gen Z, they tried to arrange one demonstration, and that was quite huge, but ultimately could not be, could not come, the end result was not in their favor. But finally, it's Nepal where the Gen Z could very successfully, within very short time, and probably with very less casualty compared to Bangladesh, they could successfully remove the corrupt administration and they could establish a caretaker government, because they did not, the very remarkable two things. One is the ban on social media, which ignited the situation. Number two is that there was no organized leadership. It came spontaneously. And as such, there is no political party. What happened in Bangladesh is that students went for a political party and they took the piece of cake, that is the power. And there, three of the ministries were taken by them. They had three advisors in the, still two is there. But in case of Nepal, it did not happen. Number three is that military has taken a very, very, very positive step, as happened in Bangladesh also. That is the same, many things could happen in Bangladesh, especially from 5th August to 8th August. There's no government. And many of the military ex-generals were expecting that probably something will happen by taken over by the military, but nothing happened like that. In Nepal also, there was a situation, and as I have gone through the journals last couple of days, the Prime Minister was told by the military commander that please, this is high time, you should leave and save the country. You cannot, we cannot kill them like this, and you cannot also stay in the power. So instead of, they have already killed his wife. The Prime Minister's wife has been killed, burned when she was locked inside the house. So probably he was given the signal that please go and leave the power. And President himself was also told by the army chief to leave the power. But the President was very, very adamant. He said, no, if need be, you kill me and do whatever you feel like. But constitutionally, I am here, I am to uphold the constitution, and I will, and you cannot. So this is one side of the coin. You see, what happened immediately after that, the new caretaker government, she clearly declared that revolution is one thing, and in the name of revolution, looting, then ransack, burning, this is the crime against the humanity, or this is the crime in the eyes of law. So those who have done this, they will be definitely punished. So these two strong positions, one is the President is in favor of the constitutions, not leaving his position under any threat, and the new the caretaker government is, and immediately she has declared the election also, right, that very soon she will go for the election. He has asked the political parties, and the mayor of Kathmandu, he is also in favor. He is very popular, the rap singer.
I'm impressed because you have given the references letter to letter, word to word, code by code. I appreciate your knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for a short commercial break.
সারা দেশে লাখো মানুষের কঠোর কর্মতৎপরতা ও নিষ্ঠায় এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন 16 কোটি মানুষের হাতের নাগালে। দীর্ঘ 30 বছর ধরে বিশ্বস্ততা ও দ্রুততার সাথে সেবা দেওয়ায় গ্রাহক সেবায় এখন শীর্ষে। বাংলাদেশে গ্রাহক সেবার সাফল্যের পর এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন বিশ্ব বাণিজ্য কেন্দ্র সিঙ্গাপুরে। আপনার যে কোনো পণ্য সিঙ্গাপুর থেকে বাংলাদেশে বুকিংয়ের জন্য যোগাযোগ করুন। এসএ পরিবহন প্রাইভেট লিমিটেড, লজিস্টিক্স পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস, 22 রবার্টস লেন, সিঙ্গাপুর 218302। ফোন 0065 629 24900। বাংলাদেশ থেকে সিঙ্গাপুরে পণ্য বুকিংয়ের জন্য যোগাযোগ করুন ঢাকা সহ দেশের যে কোনো 80টি শাখা কেন্দ্রে। এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস, আপনার সেবা সব সময়।
Welcome, Grand Palace Hotel, Dhaka. A majestic lobby blending timeless elegance with modern design. Experience 5-star comfort in suites and rooms. Sophisticated fine dining restaurant. Crystal clear swimming pool for ultimate relaxation. Modern gym and serene spa for well-being. Perfect venue for corporate events, weddings and parties. Seamless.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. In this part of this program, we need to discuss regarding the upcoming elections will be happening in Bangladesh, because viewers from around the world writing us and asking us to tell them some developments, especially the foreign viewers. Sir Pantho, I want to start with you. Government has declared a timeline. Political parties are working and they are in a mood to move into democracy, but still there is a big conflict between the government and political parties regarding the electoral system. We know politics is an electoral business. Every political party wants to do more profit. So until this debate is settled, declaration of date would be meaningless. As a young generation entrepreneur, as a young generation journalist, businessman, what is your comment on that? What really you mean to demand?
Okay. So right now we're taking this step towards local governance on how we are going to be governed in the coming days. When a country like the United States, it's in the country size of a continent, when there is voting system going on, I from Bangladesh can check my phone to see what kind of which side are they swaying towards, whether it be Democratic or Republican. Why I give this example is because in Bangladesh we have set a date, February 15th if I'm not wrong, for the upcoming election. But up until that date, what are the things that I'm going to change? Let me remind you, should be the 13th national election that is coming up, and we must understand, do we have the right infrastructure? Now, previously in the location where people would stand up, get in line, vote for the specific party and the candidate and leave that station. That is the system that we still have in 2025. It is outdated. It is an old maneuver of using sheets of paper as a ballot to be stuffed into a transparent and if not opaque box. That's the technological aspect we're still at. It is medieval in comparison to countries such as United States, Singapore, Hong Kong and other regions of this planet. We should understand in building an infrastructure where I can be at home and I can vote for whoever I want, regardless of any kind of pressure. Why should there be the need for armed forces to be guarding such polling stations? Where is the technology here? Why are we not implementing the use of technology for the convenience of people for their votes toward a 300-member parliament who will be leading the nation in the coming decades. We are far behind in certain aspects. However, I want to bring out a topic and an issue that is very relevant as of today, 18th September 2025, on a Thursday. We know that Thursday is the last day of the working calendar and Friday is the first day of the weekend in Bangladesh. Today I hear that almost 6 to 7 political parties are going to be holding various rallies in various corners of Dhaka city, a city that is plagued by traffic and congestion. Do the economic companies or do the companies in Dhaka deserve such a slowdown of economy on the day such as Thursday? Why are these things not being putting into an issue? Because it is. There is not a point where we discuss the decentralization of Dhaka. Even afterwards, that people are continuously suffering from traffic, continuously suffering from not being able to move around from one part of the city to the other part. These are the issues that any government that is coming in should counter. But once again, February 15th, everyone is trying to see what kind of results it will bring, whether or not it will be free or fair. And of course, it's been far long in comparison to Nepal. Nepal had declared March, 6 months from their ouster of their government, whereas we are now going into a 13th month of an interim government and we still don't see any kind of major progresses.
Right, sir. I will not ask any questions to Dr. Nasir. I will rather advise or request him to face Shamsul Alam Pantho, what he says, what he demanded. Is it legitimate? Is it time-worthy? Is it to meet the 21st century demands of the technology and human rights and citizen rights? You better face him.
Okay. Definitely, democracy is the best option for a civil society. We have tried with many of the form of governments from ancient period till today, and internationally it is recognized that democracy is the best possible, though there are demerits also, but there is nothing better than this with all the demerits it has. And for democracy, election is must. Without election, we cannot just dream of any democracy. But how the election is to be conducted, as Mr. Partha has rightly said, that within this last 54 years of our journey after the independence, we could not determine. And this is the 13th election, and I am afraid 13 is the unlucky number. 13 is always termed as unlucky number, and what is going to happen on the 13th election day, it is really very unpredictable. And especially the military is there for more than 13 months. More than 13 months military is on the ground. But again you see, you have rightly said why the ballots are there, and our viewers are watching us as we have the English talk show here. I am sure many of the expatriates, Gen Z and other senior citizens at a time watching us, they could not cast their vote sitting in other countries. Why? Within 50 years they could not cast vote from abroad. But this is the first time probably they are going to be included in this one. But that is a different issue. What issue I am trying to now address is that, you see, if we talk about the Gopalganj incident, why such incident took place? If you know that there is a dispute regarding the boundary of the constituency, you should have made a committee to sit with the persons, those who will be casting vote, discuss with them and go for negotiation, make a decision. Why they should block the road? Why they should vandalize? The army is with magistracy power is on ground, deployed on ground, and the Bhanga Upazila chairman and Upazila office is burning.
Yes, sir.
So what army is doing there? Why the police is running, leaving the duty at the street? So if this is the strength of police and army, how we can dream for a peaceful election? Sir, and that's why I said 13 number is unlucky, and I am afraid what is going to happen.
I appreciate special appreciation to Shamsul Alam Pantho, leader of young generation. He has opened the eyes of so many people today that election commissioner or the authority of election conducting parties will have to ensure the vote of every eligible citizen. On the other side, I want to give thanks to Major Dr. Nasir. He has also agreed with this situation. Ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude, I just want to say old politics are toxic politics. The politicians has to meet the demand of the young generation, otherwise July will come again and again, Nepal's Gen Z protest will come again and again, and that will put us into a problem of development and will gift us so much of casualties. Ladies and gentlemen, today is 18th September, International Equal Pay Day declared by the United Nations, represents the long-standing efforts towards the achievement of equal pay for work of equal value. It further builds on the United Nations commitment to human rights and against all forms of discrimination, including discrimination against women and girls. We demand from this show that women and girls also should be paid equal as men. We will see you on Sunday.